Vince Young couldn't possibly have imagined that in a 2011 summer press conference as a member of a much-hyped Eagles team, he would be the origin story of the newest franchise in the LOC.
Oh, dream team.
Yeah, LSC. I think I joined like 2011 or at least 2010, maybe. Right, kind of early stages. Didn't know that much about NFL. I think Nath was just sort of hanging out with him in college and sort of, giving it large about it. So I'll see what the fuss is about. So yeah, I hadn't really seen any of any of the teams, didn't really know any of them. But then I watched some highlights. I think it was like Michael Vick, LaShawn McCoy, Deshaun Jackson, that sort of Eagles team from back in the day. That there was a lot of hype train around them at that time, thinking they're going to win a Super Bowl. They've got lots of superstars, so people are calling them the dream team. And I figured that's going to be my team as well, like a lot of boom and bust players. So yeah, I thought, what better name than that?
Much like those Philadelphia Eagles, the 2011 season was far from a dream. Coach Nathwani's career started with him skydiving while his team was auto-drafted, receiving Peyton Manning, who missed the entire year due to neck surgery. Coach Nathwani went on to finish 6-8 in his first season.
Yeah, basically I was in the US for my 18th birthday, and you can't drink over there, so I wanted to do something for my big 1-8. So I thought I'd go skydiving. Little did I know that the auto draft strategy actually takes a special coach to deliver. You need care, skill, and aplomb to get the auto draft strategy right. And clearly, I didn't have the experience to nail it. So yeah, disaster really. I had to, after that, can't handle the auto draft. I'll have to do it the old-fashioned way and look at rankings. So yeah, a bit of a disaster. Peyton Manning, but probably the only player I heard of anyway. So thought, why not at least go for it?
The Dream Team became a bit of a yo-yo team, alternating frequently between good and bad seasons, but rarely anything in between. Epitomising that, Coach Nathwani achieved 5 playoff appearances in 10 seasons from 2011 to 2020, but unfortunately did earn a reputation of running out of gas come the end of the season, losing when it mattered. Poetically, something the team had in common with their first quarterback, Peyton Manning.
Yeah, I've had a few mares in my day, I can't lie. I've had a few shockers, Yeah, basically, I kind of go all in on going for the win. So from previous years, I've just said, listen, I'm just going to choose the best players who've got the best matchups. Should I sneak into playoffs, I should have a good chance to get a deep run. Even when I have got the playoffs, I've often been knocked around in the first round, so it hasn't really worked.
The most appropriate term for the Dream Team in all of this? Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Much like other LOC great Coach Merritt, Coach Nathwani once again entered another season in 2021 in the hopes of changing that.
Yeah, heading into 2021, using my usual draft strategy, which is, for real, just it's a game of scarcity for me. So yeah, just going for what the scarce resource is. Less of an issue now because there's so many flex spots. But yeah, sitting next to the main man, the big man, Chris, ever since his insight of Kyle Rudolph, Super Bowl MVP or Pro Bowl MVP, who knows, doesn't matter. I thought this is the man I need to listen to, really. And, Chris is a natural hype man. Whatever I said, any player that I said, he'd be like, you've got to get him. Luckily, he gave me that on Justin Herbert and Jamar Chase and all the other top players that I managed to get. So yeah, I think I was pretty happy with it. Generally in my draft, I was happy how it went. Managed to get Tyreek Hill and Austin Eckler in the first 2 rounds. I thought they were both first-round talents. So yeah, couldn't complain at all.
The Dream Team had a truly stellar draft. Hill, Eckler, Robinson, McLaurin, Herbert, Williams and Chase would form the rock-solid foundation their 2021 season would be built upon. The house that dreams are made of, if you will. And that house would face a group of tyrants in week 1.
Can't say for sure how it always happened, but I feel like more often than not, I play Tom in the first round, and he rinses me every year. So I was a bit nervous. Think, Tom again, man. When you put me up against, well, I don't know who's a bad coach nowadays. Actually, Phil Black, hasn't he? But yeah, I just thought, oh man, here we go. I'm putting in some sketchy players. I think I started like Corey Davies or something. Week 1, we got like 20 points. So yeah, I pretty much snuck it. I think. Got pretty lucky, and then yeah, those sort of wins. That's how you sort of get a deep in season, sort of win games that you probably shouldn't, and I probably shouldn't have won that one. So
Week 1 was a thriller for Coach Nathwani, with heroics from Tyreek Hill, including a walk-off 75-yard touchdown pulling off a Sunday evening comeback for the Dream Team. But the heroics had only just begun.
Yeah, it was a pretty special stretch from what I can remember. Can't remember exact details. I'm sure there's probably a jammy winner there or two in there. But I just feel like no one was really injured, and all these players that were a bit speculative, like Jamar Chase or even like James Robinson, just seemed to be getting a few touchdowns, like players that weren't probably on good teams, but just happened to get some garbage time things here or there. And that's pretty much the sort of joy of fantasy, really, just having random players do well when their teams aren't.
Coach Nathwani's side came rattling out of the gate, going 7-1 in the first 8 weeks of the season, pulling off some impressive wins along the way. One thing that marked this run was precious little changing of the side, with only Darrell Williams and Nyheim Hines added to the team in that span.
Pretty certain I'd catch the burn, really. I was pretty happy with my team. Figured, if I just stop someone else who probably could beat me to a playoff spot getting it. I don't know if he was even that good in the end. Maybe I used it for a couple of weeks. He probably could have been better. I guess there was probably a lot of upside. Maybe didn't pan out. But I think that's part of the game as well. It's like you're not just worried about yourself. You probably have to worry about other teams as well. So yeah, maybe just to block other people more than anything.
Darrell Williams, costing a heavy $51, would go on to make a handful of key appearances for Coach Nathwani. All in all, Coach Nathwani would only make 17 roster moves all season, most of which being kickers and defenses. But it was the on-roster decisions that he would struggle the most with, selecting the right signal caller between Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I think basically, I think Justin Herbert was probably the better quarterback on paper and probably on TV as well. I think maybe the Eagles are down a few games. Maybe Hurts got the random 80 yards rushing touchdown or something. And again, yeah, that's kind of why I kept him around, really. Probably play who's better on paper, and then if you ever want a chance to have a high upside guy like Hurts. So, at least they're both scoring high. It wasn't too bad.
Coach Nathwani had bigger concerns than choosing the best signal caller, though. Weighing heavily on the mind was how he would avoid the end-of-season collapse that has plagued him year after year.
Yeah, not sure really. Maybe I got a little jammy at points for sure. I feel like my team wasn't actually that good. Maybe that middle stretch was actually really good, and then it still did tail off, but just enough that I could sneak in, have some good opponents, and that's it. That's the luck element of the game, really. I'm sure some of my key players are still playing well, but generally, I think I might have got lucky on some matchups as well.
Coach Nathwani had successfully steered the ship through calm waters to end this season, winning 5 of his 6 final games en route to a 12-2 division-winning record, earning a first-round bye in the playoffs and staving off the end-of-season collapse. The next task ahead of them was an LOC newcomer in Napolitans in the semi-finals.
Yeah, that was crazy, actually. I think from memory, I think the other semi-final, I think I scored like me winning mine, so I got pretty lucky that actually I think Chris beat me to top spot. So if I had won top spot, I wouldn't have won overall. So that's for sure pretty lucky. And again, yeah, I think I might have flopped it in the semis, but I think maybe they flopped it even more. So yeah, the approach was just put my best players in, and luckily they snuck it.
The Dream Team saw off Napolitans to punch their ticket to Corona Bowl 13. Despite this being Coach Nathwani's 6th stop in the playoffs, they had only reached the Corona Bowl once before in Corona Bowl 6, where he ended up losing it right at the end. Another string to the reputation of collapsing he had earned. Facing Ixan in the final, a perennial winner in the LOC, the only other active coach to match the Dream Team's 6 playoff appearances, but they had a Corona Bowl to their name, as well as 2 other appearances in the final. This would be no small feat for Coach Nathwani on the biggest of stages.
Yeah, again from memory, I feel like Dave and Ben were like 2 teams that sort of came a little bit out of nowhere, or at least finished the season quite strong. I thought, to be honest, it would be me and my advisory, my mentor, my coach, the big man Chris in the final, and then the student could become the master. But luckily it was Ben, because I think he was rinsing everyone near the end, and then I think maybe 1 or 2 of my players just carried me in the final. So Yeah, I think I wasn't feeling too confident, to be honest. His team looked pretty crazy, actually.
A season of success. A remarkably steady, strong roster had gotten them to this point, and most importantly, hadn't suffered the same fate of slowing down like many a dream team did in the past. But were it not for one player, a player who had been so crucial to Coach Nathwani's season, and indeed another team's run to a final, fate would have almost certainly repeated itself.
Yeah, man, I think this is probably my probably my best draft pick ever, apart from RG3, obviously. Yeah, it's just some guy that everyone, I don't know if you guys remember, but he was like pretty poor in the preseason, he couldn't catch anything. So yeah, I was pretty lucky to get him when I did. I think this is probably how teams, win seasons, or at least win a lot of games, just by finding value in the late rounds or off the waiver wire. So the fact he came full circle and came big for me, Corey Ball, was pretty fortuitous for sure. And I think he was having a few average weeks before that as well. So I did have some considerations. I had a few worries, but just feel like you got to play people like that in the big game, because that could make or break you. In this case, it made it for me.
Ja'Marr Chase, the epitome of a dream team player. A team that has always been about flash, been about swag, been about having that X factor. It's a wonder Chris even had to tell Viv to draft him. But he did, and he led the team that brought Coach Nathwani his first Corona Bowl victory.
Yeah, listen, obviously the game is literally fantasy, it's not real life. So, I think you don't take it too much to heart. But for real, I was conscious that, I was in danger of becoming the new Phil. So, I'm pleased to actually get the job done, just to avoid that. And, I'd like to play it cool, but I'm sure I was probably waking up in the middle of the night. I'm pretty certain it was like Ben had one player, it might have been Nick Chubb, I can't remember for sure. I remember waking up in the middle of the night, checking out, is he scoring touchdowns, anything? Am I going to lose this? I'm pretty certain last time I was in the final, I think I played Tom. And I was so far ahead, and I had 2 players to go, and Tom had pretty much conceded, and I thought, for sure I've won. But this time I was sweating it a bit for sure. So yeah, definitely does feel good to get the job done.
Like the Dream Team's first franchise quarterback Peyton Manning, Coach Nathwani finally got the much sought after title. And like Manning, it did take a spectacular effort from certain other players to do it. Coach Nathwani did assemble and chair the team where you would unmistakably know it was a Dream Team side, but at last, one that finally delivered, where so many other of his teams had flattered to deceive before. Coach Nathwani had gotten the monkey off his back, and at the 11th time of trying, in their 6th playoff appearance, put together a season from start to finish. This time round, Coach Nathwani wasn't the bridesmaid, instead he tossed the bouquet and hoisted his first Stubbs trophy.